You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, cold and flu season takes its toll on one Oklahoma school district. We'll look at the school administrators are trying to stop the spread.
Also, a murder investigation crosses a state line after a Missouri woman says she killed her estranged husband.
And after a very cold start this morning, we've got clear skies and a warmer day, plus a warm up this weekend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney, and it is finally 7 o'clock this Friday morning. I know you're happy about it. End of your week. It's more like my Tuesday.
Yeah.
But you can join us on the weekend, and I'll be there. It's going to be a great time. But it is a cold start to the day.
Yeah, cold, but it's going to warm up.
It is going to warm up.
Of course, we'll talk about that later. But also, something going around is a lot of illness. Students and staff at Fairland School District in Oklahoma will be out of school until the start of next week due to widespread illness.
KOAM's Anthony Saviello spoke with the district superintendent about why this decision was made and with a local health expert about how you can keep yourself and your family from infection.
What would be a scene with students on the playground and in class looks more like a ghost town. That's because students and staff are home as the Fairland School District aims to prevent the spread of illness.
I think it's probably best for their district and really everyone, if we get to these numbers, to allow for some distancing and some extra cleaning of the schools to allow this to maybe slow down a little bit.
According to Fairland Superintendent Jerry Johnson, the district is doing just that, with custodial staff disinfecting despite the fact there is no one in school.
It's important to stay home when you're sick, but we also have to keep those that are there that are well, and the only way we can do that is to keep those surfaces good and clean.
What would you recommend as students and parents, and now they're kind of back home, they're eventually going to have to come back to school. So what do teachers need to keep in their mind as they're coming back to school to prevent this from happening again?
As much as we need these students in class to learn, just remembering that if your student is sick or if you are sick as the teacher, just to stay home. That's really the main way we can get this to slow down, is just stop the constant exposure.
Though Fairland experiences more of an impact due to its smaller size, Young says no matter the size, monitoring sickness in school is essential.
A specific school is starting to see more of an isolated rising case. It is always a good idea to maybe break them out for 24 to 48 hours and maybe try to get that individual school more clean, sanitized, and give them a break from the virus spreading.
In the KOAM newsroom, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Well, the Fairland School District is not conducting any virtual learning during this time. The superintendent says a decision has not yet been made about whether the school will make up these school days later in the year.
I remember even on snow days we had to make up the school days later in the year, but
it's 2 days, so maybe they could just work it or
let
fit
them
it
have
in.
it. They're sick, you know.
Of course,
Let them just have the days.
Yeah.
But it's a good day. It would be a good day to stay home this week because it's so cold this morning.
Yeah.
Who wants
Freezing.
to get up and go out? But it will warm up this weekend and next week. We can see temperatures are starting off in the low teens with wind chill values in the single digits. But we'll go ahead and take a look outside, and you see clear skies. So although it looks really pretty outside, it is still pretty cold. So don't forget a jacket when you leave the house this morning. Wind chill values again in the single digits because these winds are in a southerly breeze, but still gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour through the morning hours and continuing until the early afternoon. So actual temperatures right now, 14 degrees, and it's going to feel like 5 degrees because of those southerly breezes. Now, outside of that, sun's coming up, so we're going to warm up rather quickly. By 8 a.m., still 14 degrees, but 9 a.m., 20 degrees, 10 a.m., upper 20s, and 11 a.m., we're going to be in the low 30s. So we're warming up really quickly because of that surface heating. Not expecting a lot of clouds today, a few passing clouds, but overall it's going to be mostly clear skies. Now this weekend, as a cold front moves through, starting Saturday morning, leaving our area by Saturday night. It's a slow-moving cold front. We're going to deal with a lot of clouds Saturday and a bit of a cooler day on Sunday. Now, Saturday, low 40s to mid 40s, still going to stick around in the 40-degree range. Overcast, guys. That cold front really takes effect Sunday, low 40s and even upper 30s in some areas. But we return back to a warm up on Monday, and I'm going to have those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. We'll see you soon. Authorities in Aurora have begun a homicide investigation that reaches into Arkansas. Police say at around 1:45 yesterday morning, this woman, Taylor Santiago, arrived at the Aurora Police and Fire facility and said she had just murdered her estranged husband at her home. Officers took Santiago into custody and responded to her apartment. They found the man identified as Santiago's estranged husband dead inside. The police say Santiago also disclosed that she had earlier driven to Arkansas and shot 2 people, one of whom was the biological father of one of her children. That man is currently listed in serious condition. The other victim, a woman, died. Santiago has been charged with first-degree murder in Missouri, and she's currently in the Lawrence County Jail. Newton County is dealing with its very first documented bird flu outbreak in history. Birds at 2 farms owned by Opal Foods were infected. Opal Foods produces eggs for brands like Eggland's Best and Land O'Lakes. Now they're in the process of euthanizing all 2.6 million birds at the farm. The euthanized birds and affected eggs will be transported to a landfill in Lamar, Missouri. Then the farm will be sanitized. Cleanup and sanitation will be overseen by the USDA, and they expect to be done by early 2026. The administrator at the Newton County Health Department says the risk of bird flu in humans is minimal.
The Department of Agriculture is on site to oversee the destruction of the birds, and they have been following all procedures and policies and have been very cooperative with the local health department as well as state officials.
He says there's a possibility that egg and chicken prices will increase as a result of the outbreak. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, new research is showing an alarming number of barriers keeping healthcare professionals from receiving help for their mental health. We'll have the details. And later, California communities come together to help their own who have been affected by recent wildfires. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg is challenging President Trump, saying this week his charity is planning to give the UN the financial obligations of the U.S. under the Paris Climate Agreement. This coming after President Trump announced the United States would be withdrawing from it. It's unclear just how much Bloomberg is planning to contribute. President Trump also pulled out of the agreement in 2017 during his first term. A border crossing slowing along the California border this week. In San Diego, border agents are seeing an almost lifeless border after President Trump took office Monday. The president signing a slew of executive orders focused on shutting down the southern border and ramping up deportations. At least 530 criminal illegal migrants have been captured this week. Over 1.4 million immigrants currently live in the United States illegally. A failure to learn from past mistakes can result in repeating critical errors down the line, and depending on the circumstances, that could pose serious problems. Now, when it comes to examining the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on medical workers responsible for keeping many of us healthy, new research is revealing a number of barriers that prevented people in this profession from getting help for their own mental health issues. Fox News correspondent Chanley Painter reports.
The COVID-19 pandemic may now be 5 years in the past, but a new study is highlighting large care-seeking gaps among healthcare workers who faced mental health issues during the height of the global crisis. The results are causing concerns throughout the medical field.
We do see increased rates of anxiety, stress, depression, PTSD in healthcare workers as a whole.
In the throes of the pandemic, surges of COVID-19 patients were overwhelming many understaffed hospitals nationwide, triggering intense burnout, chronic stress, and mental agony among practitioners. After surveying more than 2,600 healthcare workers from September 2022 through May of 2023, teams found
26% of them were reporting levels of mental health problems that would be on par with meeting criteria for a diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis. What was interesting is that only about 40% of these people had sought any kind of mental health care. And really only 20% of them said that they didn't even need care at all.
Researchers are identifying key reasons that prevented workers from getting help.
Things like getting time off from work or just the cost of care.
Psychology professionals also cite ongoing stigma surrounding medical workers getting mental health care.
It's related to things like licensing and board certification or, concerns that they be seen as weak.
Researchers say supervisor support helped decrease some of the negative effects in workers. Advocates are also calling for ramped up trainings on managing employee stress and staffing issues. I'm Shanley Painter, Fox News.
And those are our top national stories this morning. Let's head over to Lindsay for a quick look at the forecast.
Well, temperatures are going to be in the low teens still through the morning hours. By 9 a.m., 20 degrees, and the high for the day, mid 40s. Now our wind chill value, because we have sea winds gusting today, we are going to see those winds about 3 degrees still through about 9 a.m. And then as we continue through the afternoon hours and we warm up into the 30s and 40s, our wind chill value is still going to be 10 degrees cooler than it should be. So by 11 a.m. it's still going to feel like the upper teens. And then as we warm up for the day, for our high for the day in the mid 40s, it's going to feel like mid to upper 20s because of that wind gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour through the early afternoon hours. But the sun comes out, so it is going to be a decent day, and our warm up continues through the rest of the weekend. Well, taking a look downtown Pittsburgh, we can see a nice sunrise going on out there this morning, but temperatures are still pretty cold. Still feeling like it's the low single digits, but actual temperature is about 14-15 degrees now. Now our temperature trend for the last couple of days, we were in the low 20s yesterday morning, only warmed up to the low 30s, and then we continue to drop through. Overnight low actually got down to about 11 degrees at 3 a.m. this morning, and we're starting to warm up slowly but surely throughout this afternoon. Now, we are warming up because of this nice little ridge that's moving over our area. So we have a high pressure system starting to push into the 4 states and our low pressure system starting to push off to the east. So we're looking forward to a nice warmer weekend, and temperatures today actually reaching mid to even upper 40s in some areas. Plus you can see sunny skies all day long. So it's overall going to be a pretty nice day. And we also have on the flip side, a little bit of winds gusting 15 to 20 to 30 miles per hour throughout the day. So by 9 this morning, northern counties gusting up to 30 miles per hour, southern counties about 20 miles per hour. Winds continue to strengthen throughout the early afternoon hours, but dying down by about 4:30 to 5 p.m. 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts continue through most of the afternoon and evening after that. And then we're going to start to see that cold front move through starting early Saturday morning, but it's a very slow moving cold front. So you can see it's still in those northern counties by about 7:30 a.m. And then it's going to continue to shift further south, and a little bit of gusty winds following that front out of the north. So a little bit of a wind chill then heading into Saturday night and Sunday morning. Now, looking at our future track, we're not expecting a lot of rain chances with this, but there's our boundary right there north of Yates Center, north of Nevada. It's about 4 in the morning. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start to see those clouds push in because it's a lot of warm, moist air ahead of that cold front boundary. So a lot of clouds moving in. Overcast skies continue because, again, this is a very slow moving front. So it's only in our central counties by about noon, 12:30 on Saturday, and that's going to continue to shift further south. But by about 8 p.m., now reaching our southern counties, a few showers might pop up. In Oklahoma and south of I-44 is where we might see a possible shower or two, but quickly moving on out of here, and all the clouds start to clear after midnight on Sunday. Then heading into Sunday morning, temperatures dropping down to the low 20s, and you can see 7 a.m. starting to see those clear skies. A few clouds pass by, but overall it's going to be a mostly sunny day on Sunday. So looking at our temperatures for the weekend, Saturday highs in the mid to upper 40s. Now with our overcast skies, these temperatures may be a little bit cooler, a couple of degrees there, mid 40s for most of us because we don't get a lot of surface heating. Then Sunday morning, we already talked about those mid 20s to upper 20s for the lows with those winds out of the north. Going to keep us a little bit cooler on Sunday. Low 40s for most of us, really not warming up much more than that. And then cooler Monday start. low 20s for our overnight low, and even maybe in some areas upper teens. Now Monday for the high, warming right back up because winds shift back out of the south-southwest. We're going to see wind temperatures in the mid 40s on Monday and the low to mid 50s on Tuesday and even Wednesday. So overcast skies start on Wednesday, a couple of scattered showers Thursday, maybe a bit of a wintry mix on Friday. But until then, these warmer temperature trend all the way through midweek next week and mostly sunny skies now. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back. As Los Angeles faces another round of fire-fueling Santa Ana winds, many Angelinos are struggling to figure out what their next steps are following the deadly fires.
Michael Yoshida shows us how some community leaders and private donors are trying to help families start the long road of recovery.
I'll take this one. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Raven Maduro is one of the thousands of Angelinos trying to fill the void left behind by the deadly Los Angeles wildfires.
Everything outside just was disintegrated.
Maduro and her mother lived in Altadena, where the Eaton fire torched street after street.
I evacuated only with what I had, which was my car, and then eventually asked all my friends if we could stay in tents, and they dropped over tents, and we were sleeping in tents.
The daughter and mother able to find a hotel room after connecting with Victory Bible Church in Pasadena. Today, they're taking part in a relief hub, replacing essential items and clothing. A free legal clinic also taking place, helping families navigate insurance and other legal concerns.
And so much compassion.
Yes.
During this time.
The church also trying to meet immediate financial needs of families, saying a donor wrote a check for hundreds of thousands of dollars for those impacted by the fires. Families filled out a grant application, and a day later, checks were in their hands.
I don't know if they truly understand the impact that it has made on our lives. When we got the call to pick up the check, to sustain us and to get us at least to the next day or the next week, maybe even the next month.
What happens beyond that remains to be seen. From churches to drive-ins and more, community leaders are hopeful there will be enough resources long-term for families to rebuild and preserve the diverse, rich history of Altadena. As for Maduro,
It just seems like someone made these and just put them out there so I can be positive.
she's staying optimistic, finding hope where she can.
It just reminds me to stay positive and to believe that better times are ahead.
In Los Angeles County, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Well, certainly a devastating situation over there has been going on for a couple of weeks now. So it's great to see, of course, community members coming together, supporting, people who have lost so much, and it's going to take a long time. So any help that people can get.
That's been a theme, I think, over the entire U.S. with all of our weather and natural disasters that are going on. I've noticed that a lot of communities really coming together, and I think that is a really tremendous thing.
Absolutely. Well, coming up, an agreement will soon expand access to broadband internet in parts of Southwest Missouri.
And we have a cooler start, but a warmer weekend coming up ahead. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. I'm Elise Noe. If you think gas prices have been rising in Missouri, you'd be right. According to AAA, the average gas price in the Show Me state is $2.83, a 4-cent increase in the last week, and a 21-cent increase since this day last year. Unfortunately, some of the lowest gas prices in the state are right here in our area. Jasper and McDonald counties are both at $2.78. Gas prices on average are lower for some neighboring states. Oklahoma's current average sits at $2.71. In Arkansas, it's $2.77, and in Kansas, the average price is $2.81. Well, who says you can't have a green thumb in the winter? The Joplin Public Library held an event last night featuring master gardener Eric Osen. He showed how to create green mini houses out of milk jugs, a great way to start seeds for spring gardening.
Tonight we're going to send folks home with a dry mix, and we're going to ask them to saturate it well, but the containers we're using have holes drilled so they can drain out, and then there'll be enough moisture so these seeds can stay damp.
What color?
Attendees also enjoyed a fun craft activity with all supplies provided. And it's time once again for KOAM's 4 States Finest nominations, our Viewer Choice Awards. Now, you nominate your favorite places in the 4 states, everything from restaurants to entertainment venues to fitness clubs, you name it. Top nominees then go to the voting round, and the deadline to nominate is February 2nd. You can head over to KOAMnewsnow.com/finest and let people know what you think is the best the 4 states has to offer. Now here's Lindsay for a quick look at the forecast.
Well, you can see we've got clear skies starting off this morning and a nice little sunrise too. We're going to see clear skies most of the day, but winds are picking up. We started off this morning gusting 15 miles per hour. Now we're getting up to 20 to even 25 miles per hour. And those winds are just going to continue to strengthen as we head into the rest of the day. Now, current temperature is about 14 degrees, though it is sunny. So we're going to warm up rather quickly because of surface heating. But it feels like 5 degrees because of that southerly breeze and those wind gusts. Now that's going to continue. We're going to see wind chill about 5 to 10 degrees cooler all day long. But like I said, we are warming up. Low 30s by 11 a.m. But like you can see where we started, 12 to 14 degrees, 8 a.m. But we're warming up really quickly. Clear skies again most of the day. Might see a couple of passing clouds, but overall not bad. Warming up to the mid 40s today, and in southern counties a little bit warmer, mid to upper 40s, northern counties lower 40s, but overall still a warmer day with the sunrise. Now heading into the weekend, we see a cold front moving through most of the day on Saturday, so we're getting this overcast skies right along that boundary, and temperatures warming up to the mid 40s. Now it might be a degree or two colder because of the overcast skies, but Sunday a little bit cooler, but sun returns. Plus that warm up continues on Monday as well, but I'll have a full forecast coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, Newton County residents will soon have more access to broadband internet. The County Commission hopes a partnership with Allo Communications will benefit residents. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more.
The Newton County Commission has approved an agreement with Allo Communications to implement a broadband deployment plan using nearly $7 million in funding from the American Rescue Plan Act and an investment from Allo. It will create a backbone fiber line. This will allow for increased access to the internet across the most rural parts of the county.
During COVID, when the schools were closing and all that, they were trying to do schoolwork from home. Well, there's a lot of families that didn't have internet even available to them, and we're just trying to get it up.
Allo is currently working on increasing broadband internet in Joplin. That's how Newton County caught the company's eye. In a statement to KOAM, they say, quote, "Through our discussions with the city of Joplin, we identified how critically underserved Newton County is in terms of broadband options. By addressing this critical infrastructure gap, Allo aims to foster economic growth, enhance educational opportunities, and improve access to essential digital services for the community."
You know, in today's world, a lot more people work from home and stuff, and we want that opportunity for people to move to Newton County and still be able to have broadband to where if they do work from home or need the broadband, it's there for their students. I think it's going to be a good deal for all of the citizens in these areas, and I think they'll be excited.
According to the commissioner, the program won't just make it easier for people to connect or maybe work from home, but it will also work to keep them safe.
We are also trying to do some low water bridge flood alert systems, and by having this broadband out there at the areas where we have a flood risk in the county, we're actually going to have monitors that will not only alert us, but it'll also alert traffic to not go that direction.
Allo says the project is currently in the design phase. The company estimates construction to finish by the end of October 2026. Reporting in Newton County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Allo is also currently working on establishing a fiber network in Joplin. You can find a link to track what progress is being done in your community on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker joins us with his big 3 stories of the week. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm loving the cold.
Oh, really?
I've embraced it.
You're ridiculous.
It's a lie. Yeah. Let's take a look at the big 3 stories this week. What's happening where you live? An intersection that's causing quite a stir in southeast Kansas, Cherokee County, the former Four Corner intersection. It used to be a 4-way stop. Now with the new expressway, it's a 2-way stop.
Yes.
A fatal crash occurred the other day. It was about 11:30 in the morning. A man from Veneta, Oklahoma stopped at the stop sign and then continued on into traffic that doesn't stop.
Of course.
And was struck by a tow truck. So more details if you want to read about that story, get the real story, the full story, not all the gossip. A lot of people have been gossiping a lot about it. Check out our website, KOAM News Now, straight from the Kansas Highway Patrol. And our number 2 story. Fire yesterday displaced an unknown number of people. A lot of people were displaced. This is a Daisy Courts Apartments. It was built in the 40s right on Route 66. It was also called Daisy Court Sleeping Rooms because, you know, back in the day when you travel and stuff. So there are 2 sections of these little apartments. 7 of them burned yesterday. The fire was concentrated in one apartment, apartment 10. Now, nobody was injured. One person was transported for smoke inhalation to an area hospital, but it's displaced everyone in all those 7 apartments.
That's horrible.
So the Red Cross responded to assist. They're still investigating the cause, but they do know it originated in that apartment that was it was a hoarder apartment. How about that? And so it's kind of hard to determine where that fire started. There's so much stuff in there. Our number 1 story, another tragedy, head-on collision. This is near Fairview, Missouri. A man was driving a Jeep Wrangler and went to pass a group of slower traffic and struck a Toyota Prius, a man from Webb City, head on. A man from Webb City was transported to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The man died.
It's a horrible crash.
That was driving the Jeep. Was not wearing a seatbelt, Missouri State Highway Patrol told us as well. Dangerous, obviously.
Certainly.
And then our bonus story of the week. This might make you feel a little bit better. Do you like Mi Torito? Well, they're opening their 3rd location.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know people have been talking about them for years. They've been around since like 2005. I've never been.
Neither have I.
They've taken over the old Mucho Mexico, I think is a business that was there years and years ago. So it might seem kind of familiar. It's right across from Flag City Brewing. They opened earlier this week with the Webb City Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting. But tomorrow will be their grand opening, and they're going to have some live music. So they're in Galena, Carl Junction, and now Webb City, and Mariachi Flor de Missouri will play tomorrow.
How about that?
From 5 until 8. That's your bonus today, the Mi Torito.
Ooh, I might have to go stop by and check it out.
Ra-ra-ra-ra.
Yeah, I think you should go and do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just go and listen. It's not karaoke.
No. Well, Shannon, as always, thank you so much for being with us. Of course, you can find all of Shannon's big 3 stories and his bonus story as well as everything that he does for us as well. Thank you so much, Shannon.
No problem.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
Well, taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, you can see we've got clear skies and a nice little sunrise going on this morning. Overall, it is a pretty good day. Now, we started off cold today. We had a cold front come through last night, so temperatures were in the low 20s. We only warmed up to the low 30s yesterday, so only about a 10-degree warm up, but you can see temperatures just continue to drop all the way through this morning, getting down to about 11 degrees before we started our warm up this morning. Now we're going to continue to warm up for the weekend. We've got a ridge building over our area, which means a high pressure system right on top of us, and that low pressure system's off to the east, meaning cold weather is going to be shifting out of here and warmer weather is going to be moving in. Now, today we're right about average. We're in the mid 40s, about 44 for the high, which is typically slightly above what we see normally for this time of year. But we also have winds gusting all day today. So winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour through 10 a.m. this morning. Those are going to continue until early afternoon before we're starting to dive down. So about 25 mile per hour wind gusts through 5 p.m. and then continuing on to the evening. 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts until that front starts to move in early Saturday morning. So you can see where that boundary starts to push in by 7:30 in the morning. And it's a pretty slow moving boundary, so it's just going to continue to move in throughout most of the day on Saturday, starting to push on out of our area by late Saturday afternoon, where winds gust right behind it out of the north. Another little bit of a wind chill there with that Saturday afternoon and into Sunday. Now, we aren't expecting any rain with this cold front that's going to be moving in, but about 4:30 in the morning, There's our boundary. Right ahead of the boundary, we've got a lot of warm air with a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So we're going to see those overcast skies building up right ahead of that boundary. And then more clouds move in as the boundary pushes in. Now, again, it's a slow moving front. So we're going to be mostly overcast skies all day on Saturday. You can see by about noon, we're still going to be overcast skies. Temperatures warming up into the mid to upper 40s for the high. And then we start to clear out, but not before that front pushes out of the area late Saturday afternoon. Might see a few pop-up showers south of I-44 just as it's moving out of our area, but the rest of us are going to stay dry. Clouds start to clear after midnight on Sunday, starting off in the morning, low to mid 20s with sunny skies, and we might see a few passing clouds, but overall Sunday is going to be pretty sunny. Now, temperatures for the next couple of days. Highs on Saturday, we just saw mid to upper 40s, especially further south, but with the overcast skies, might keep us a couple of degrees cooler there since we don't get a lot of surface heating. And then Sunday morning, we're in that mid 20s degree range. Highs for Sunday, because of that cold front that moved through, those northerly winds, we're only getting into the low 40s. Another cold start on Monday, low 20s to start off. You can see winds are starting to shift. And then for the high on Monday, winds are out of the south. So we're starting to see that warm up take place again. Mid 40s with mid 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're continuing to warm up through the mid 50s all the way through midweek next week. We've got a cloudy couple of days there, but overall sunny and warmer as we head into next week, plus a couple of rain chances towards the end of the week. But that's a look at your forecast. Let's go over to Elise with Consumer Watch.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, Boeing takes a major financial hit as it deals with the effects from layoffs and a strike. The company says it suffered about $3 billion in charges in the final quarter of 2024 following a strike that lasted more than 7 weeks and plans to cut its workforce by 10%. The company's revenue for the fourth quarter of $15.2 billion came in more than $1 billion below analysis estimates. Well, a new government agency to cut federal spending puts the penny at the top of the list. The Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE, led by Elon Musk, says producing pennies costs more than a cent to make and costs taxpaying Americans tens of millions of dollars. The department did not say if eliminating penny production as part of its plan to reach its goal of cutting $2 trillion is government spending. United Healthcare announces a new CEO. The company announced yesterday that veteran Tim Noel will be filling the role of CEO. Noel was previously the head of the company's Medicare and Retirement division. He first joined the company in 2007. The announcement comes after former CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed in Midtown Manhattan back in December. Luigi Mangione is facing murder and terrorism charges in connection to the fatal shooting of Thompson. And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Aurora police have arrested Taylor Santiago for the murder of her husband and shooting of 2 others in Arkansas. Officers responded to her apartment where they found the man identified as Santiago's estranged husband dead. Santiago has been charged with first-degree murder in Missouri. She's currently in the Lawrence County Jail. Well, 2 farms in Newton County are dealing with its very first documented bird flu outbreak in history. Opal Foods produced eggs for brands such as Eggland's Best and Land O'Lakes. Now, they're in the process of euthanizing all 2.6 million birds. The euthanized birds and affected eggs will be transported to a landfill in Lamar, Missouri. Then the farm will be sanitized. And it's time once again for KOAM's 4 States Finest nominations, our Viewers' Choice Awards. Nominate your favorite places in the 4 states, and top nominees then go to the voting round. The deadline to nominate is February 2nd. You can head over to KOAMNewsNow.com/finest.
And we have warmer temperatures as we head into the weekend. Mid-40s today, a little bit windier. Overcast skies tomorrow, but temperatures are still reaching mid to upper 40s and then low 40s on Sunday. But another warm up in store starting Monday and continuing through midweek next week.
Alrighty, sounds good. Well, Fresno Chaffee Zoo in California revealed the name of one of its cubs after asking social media users for their help in an online poll. The zoo shared adorable footage to X on January 17th of newly named Taraj rolling around and hanging out with his sister Asali. Meet Taraj. His name means hope or faith in Swahili, the post said.
Fresno Chaffee Zoo earlier issued a public appeal to help choose Tarja's name. 3 names were chosen by the Fresno Chaffee Zoo staff, and now it's your turn to pick your favorite, it said at the time.
How cute is
I would
that?
love the opportunity, to name those things.
To
those
name,
cute little
I
animals.
wouldn't have come. I would just been like Simba.
I think it's fitting.
Look at them go! Oh, so cute, so adorable.
I definitely.
Oh,
I want to hug them.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.